On today's episode of the Film Breakdown Show, we look at a little bit of the Commanders film that was good from last week, play design, execution, great times calling plays, good job, Cliff. And then we get into Dallas week. We look at some of the good, some of the bad, mostly on defense for these Dallas Cowboys. And then we look at the guy who's running the show down there, the star, Dak Prescott, and how do we possibly slow him down? He's playing at MVP caliber level. It all starts right now. Welcome to the Film Breakdown Show. I'm Logan Paulson, and that beautiful sing-song voice you hear off camera is producer Jason. Say hi, Jason.
Hi, Logan. Teach me something today.
Yeah, love that voice. And as always, we're in the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. And anytime we're doing the film show, we start off kind of reviewing some stuff from the last game that I liked or that caught my eye. And I know it wasn't the best game of all time, but there's still good football in there. Let's start with this 4th and 2. And this is just one of those plays that just catches your eye for all the right reasons. So they're going to run a little bit of a mesh concept here. So they're going to get across, this guy's going to run a corner, and this is going to be a sit. So that's your classic mesh. And usually mesh is a 5-receiver route, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Jason, we're missing one. No, we're not. The back is right here. He's going to run a rail here. So he's going to run this rail route up the sideline. And so in my estimation, usually you start with the back to the second crosser to the sit over the ball. So it would go 1, 2, 3, or some variation of that. Some people start with the sit and then move out. Just depends on the offense you're in. That's where people say, like when you get an announcer saying, oh, this is how you read mesh 100%. Nah, not all the time. So let's take a look. This is the completion of McNichols up the sideline, and let's just talk about how it happens. So great job here. Get the ball out. Love it. Great job. Great job by Jane Daniels. The Chicago Bears are bringing what we call a simulated pressure. So right now it looks like we got man coverage on the perimeter, man, obviously, right? If it is man, then this guy's going to have the back. So it looks like they're bringing the rest of the guys, right? So they're going to bring a 5-man rush. However, if you look at this, they drop this guy out, the defensive end. They drop him out. They drop the linebacker up to the top. They're going to rush these 4 on the interior, and they're going to rush this linebacker through the A-gap, right? So it ends up being a 4-man rush. Really great awareness here by Jaden Daniels, understanding the coverage, because he understands that this gentleman right here, this number 90, has the back in coverage. If that's the case, he has to fight through 2 picks, one by Zach Ertz, one by Moore. And this is one of those little funny things you see on film. Watch our guy Moore here. Watch how he kind of puts a little seasoning on this little rub route here, this pick here. He goes here and then kind of acts like he's going to fall down, tries to get his legs up. Great job. Creates enough of a spacing here that we can get the ball out to a wide open Jeremy McNichols on the rail route here. So I thought it was a really well executed play. Love the call here by Cliff in this situation here, because it's a really smart concept. You've been getting a lot of man coverage. It's got answers versus man. I know people say that all the time when you're watching the broadcast. What are the answers? If it's man coverage, we've got a guy running across the field with outside leverage. We've got a pick route for that same player. We've got the back running up the seam, and it's all coming into the quarterback's vision, working to this side of the offense. So I think it's a really nice call, simple, lets you get picks versus man, and love the execution. And again, just love the touch by our guy, Jaden Daniels here, just right over the top. Lay that thing in there. Beautifully plays football. And our guy, Jeremy, seeming to make a big play every single game. Had to give him a shout out. Love mesh, love the execution. Great job right there. Now, on to the next one. The next one is our guy, Zach Ertz. And he's running like what I would call a choice or a Texas route. And he's just got such a fantastic feel for this. I'm just going to let it run, then we'll talk about it afterwards, right? So Zach's down here at the bottom in the bunch. He's going to release and then catch this ball over the middle of the field. Awesome job by Zach, especially in a gotta-have-it situation here on a 2nd and 6. So what makes this so good here is watch Zach's stem. He kind of stems out and then stems back in. He uses the natural pick he's going to get from the corner route here, which is Luke McCaffrey. Watch him kind of push out. He forces the defender to play over the top. Love it. And look at his shoulders here, Jason. Like, look how they're pointed to the sideline. I have to respect this energy, this motivation to the sideline. It looks like I'm running maybe a flat with a stick here. I've got to play through it if that's my man. Plays over the top. Great job by Zach. Then pushing back vertical again and then working to the middle of the field. Awesome, awesome job by him. Really think that's really fantastic work. And again, the other thing that Cliff does here, which I love, is you're going to free release the back away, and you've got your two receivers on this side. So watch the plug player, the guy here, the number 53, Edwards. He has to play to the back because it's a 5-man rush. I have to match that side. Great job by Cliff, just with the formation, the release pattern, ensuring this space here for Zach to work. And again, he's run this route 1,000 times. Easy catch, easy completion, easy first down. Love to see that level of experience from Zach in those situations. And it's the subtle things, the shoulder turn, the slightly pushed vertical, went across the place, the general play design and spacing. Really outstanding job.
So with a play like that, is that always going to go to Zach? Like, is that who it's drawn up for?
No, not always. So like in this case, right, like you run choice, which is, this could be Texas. So choice is different because he comes up here, he's going to start his route, and he can go in, out, or sit down versus zone. It's kind of his choice as a route runner. You always pair choice with some type of corner, right? So if this guy, if Luke in this case has really good leverage on the second level player, and let's say Zach gets blanketed by 6 here and cancels this out, my eyes are to the same side, right? And I can just work easily to the corner. Awesome job, right? Love this versus man, love it versus zone, especially if you got someone who knows how to run a good choice, and Zach does. So it's not totally dead, but you're really counting on that guy to win. Like think about, like when I was playing, Jordan Reed was the best in the NFL at this, and you get a lot of easy first downs because if the guy knows what's right, I can work right away to my right-hand side if I'm Jaden Daniels. If it's zone, the guy's going to make a good decision. If it's man, the guy's going to make a good decision, and that's where the value of a guy like Zach Ertz comes into play.
So we see a lot that the ball goes to Ertz on third downs a lot of the time. Is that because most of those play calls at that time are choice routes for him and you just trust him so much to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's what you're like. That's one of the things like when you're looking at tight ends, we're looking at receivers coming out in the draft, is can they run a good choice route? Can they make good decisions? Do they know coverage? Can they win versus man-to-man? Because if you have a guy who can get that done, think about how easy 3rd and 5 becomes, right? And think about how many balls Zach has caught on this specific route. We watched some with Coach on the game plan versus Green Bay. Like, he's the master of this, and that's one of the reasons why he gets so many of these opportunities.
So my last question based off of this is, let's say it's like, oh, well, get the ball to this person. Like, that's a comment you hear a lot. Yeah. And, like, even I say it as a fan. It's like, oh, get the ball to X or get the ball to Z, right? Are there plays ever that are drawn up, unless it's like a screen, where it's like it's designed to just go to this person? Or is it the concepts around that person, but you have other options based on coverage?
I think that's a great way to put it. Like this concept on choice, right, which is what this is with this kind of in here and then this corner. Like when I draw it up on paper, the ball, I know the ball is probably going to go to the choice runner if the choice runner makes a good decision. But if he's covered, like let's say, for example, like they don't blitz, it's not a 5-man rush. Let's say that it's not a 5-man rush. And this guy takes the back, and this plug player pushes to this window, right? If he pushes to this window, there's no space in there, right? This is going to be X'd out. It's dead because that guy's pushing in this direction. If that's the case, then I got to work through my progression. I'm going to work across. Maybe I hit the back on the far flat, right, on a choice route, which is designed to go to him because they don't cover it well. Like that's part of the process of developing a good pass concept is you have a primary indication, but then what are my secondary and tertiary responses if it doesn't go the way we think it's going to go? So cool. All right. So I thought those were really good. And then again, I got to give my guy, maybe it's because I'm a tight end, Jason, but I got to give Zach some more love here in terms of, and really Cliff love here in terms of play design on the touchdown because it's really well done. It's sharp, right? It's just kind of the forward thing. And everyone runs these concepts. It's not like unique to Washington, but I just love the execution. So first off, let's watch our guy. They're going to get into some type of cover 2 here. So 1, 2 high safety. This is the Tampa player. He's going to push vertically. Notice how his eyes are pointed to the 3 receiver set here. We're ensuring space. 1, 2, 3. The receiver's over there. He's doing his job. Zach and the back are down here to this. Bill Krosky-Merritt down here to the bottom. So we're ensuring a good matchup because we're going to run an in-breaker by Zach. He's going to push up. Look, again, his stem is so good. Push up, push out. This guy does a good job of keeping his leverage on the outside shoulder. Once his leverage on the outside shoulder, he now pushes across and is able to break across the middle of the field. Really nicely designed play here in terms of nice route, but nicely designed because how do we make sure that this hook player doesn't get a little bit of depth and fall under this? We run a guy, our running back, Bill Krosky-Merritt, from the backfield, and have him run a little angle here. So we get 2 levels here. So if this player gets any depth, we can throw it to the back. And if he attaches to the back, where does the ball go, Jason? Goes to Zach Ertz for the touchdown.
It goes to Zach Ertz on the touchdown. And I would say here, look at the linebacker, right, that's dropping into that Tampa 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That ball, like, that's Jaden's zip, release, and strength, because he's staring right at Jaden, and that's a long throw. All right. Let me just say it this way. As a mere mortal, that's a really long throw. Well, it's longer than you think. Yeah, so to put that zip where he can't jump it, that's a hell of a throw.
Next time you go to a football field, check it out, right? So this is a good, perfect answer to your question, right? Watch his eyes, right? When he gets the ball, he's going to check the Mike linebacker because he's got to know which way he's going to open up. He opens up away. He says, cool, I got what I want. Now just let me deliver a strike. Just got to wait here at the top a little bit for Zach to hit that break. Throw it to grass. Look at when he's throwing it. Like, this is perfect, right? He's getting to the top of his route, foot down, ball out. Excellent job. But you see how he's checking the mic first. Because if the mic had pushed in this direction, look at the concept they have on the other side. And this is why I like it, because it's got a lot of answers, right? Look at the concept on the other side. If he pushes towards Zach, hypothetically, he shouldn't because he's not to the 3-by-1, but it's the same concept over here. We're going to run a little sit. We're going to run a dig. And if this guy, the linebacker, were to push in the opposite direction, like he were to push with eyes in this direction, we would just throw it to Moore for a touchdown in the back of the end zone. That's where Jaden Daniels, like that pre-snap awareness, knowing where to look, knowing the space you're trying to attack, I think really just speaks to his skill set and why he's such a fun player to watch.
These type of throws are the ones that impress me the most.
Really?
The 30-yard throw, because that's what, about a 30-yard throw from where he releases it? Yeah, the 30-yard throw in the back of the end zone, because the field, like the back of the end zone's a defender, so it crowds more defenders in there, and to zip it with anticipation like that. We do the Ticket to the Draft podcast when the draft comes up. Yeah. When I see quarterbacks doing this, that's a mark, right? Like that means you have something. You're throwing with anticipation in tight windows with a lot of zip, and that's a far throw. People don't, honestly, mere mortals don't understand how far 30 yards is. Yeah. Try and zip a ball 30 yards. It's not going to get there like this. This is why they're the 1%.
Go to your football field, your local high school, try to rip it, and watch how your ball looks compared to how this ball looks, and you're going to see why these guys get paid a lot of money to make these kind of throws. All right, so that's kind of the recap of some of the positive things. Again, I love how Jaden Daniels played. Loved some of the stuff that Zach did. Love the play design by Cliff. And again, it's not revolutionary, but just when he's calling it, the execution he's getting from the players, I think he deserves a lot of credit. Okay, now let's go to the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, tell me all about the Dallas
Cowboys.
Yeah, boo.
That's not good. Yeah, hiss. So let's talk about this. So this is I think a play that everyone runs. It's called Wanda. I'm just going to let it run here for a second so we can see it. So they're going to run Wanda, and quite frankly, they get gashed. And I think this shows all of the negative things associated with the Dallas defense right now.
All right, so before you start, you say this is called Wanda, everybody runs it. You just toss it to the side. What's Wanda?
I'm going to tell you. So Wanda, to me, is an open side run away from the tight end. So where's the tight end? Tight end's right here on the backside of line of scrimmage. Wanda, we're going to go base block, base, double team here. He's going to cut that off. The back's going to press it to the front side and then probably wind it back because the tackle to the front side the tackle over here is out leverage on his block, so the ball is naturally going to cut back. So Wanda, weak side run, W, away from the tight end. Now that's what I call it, but it could be called whatever you want. You could call it Jason Johnson for all you want, but it just denotes weak side run away from the tight end. So love this by Carolina. They put a little window dressing on it. They kind of motion this guy across. Watch how it affects these linebackers they push over. When you run motion, this is what you want to see. You want to see it affect the defense in some way. See how they push way over. To me, they over-respond to the motion. Again, this is showing some of the deficiencies of the Dallas Cowboy defense. Now, all of a sudden, they have 3 guys outside the center, which is not good. And we always talk about double team angles. This right now has become a fantastic double team angle. This right here has become a great double team angle. And now our receiver to the front side can dig this guy out and block the front side player. Before the motion, Jason, we can't do it. It's much more challenging. The double teams are way more vertical. We move, we get amazing angles. And people say, well, what about this guy? Don't worry about that little guy. We're going to talk about him in a second. But watch these double teams. We're going to push across the ball. Like, seriously, this reminds me of Laramie Tunsil and Chris Paul. Like, watch them absolutely annihilate this defender, get out of the club. I'm not a great running back, Jason, but I could run through this hole. Watch the tight end. We have a tight end that can do this. John Bates, name ring a bell. Watch this guy just wear number 94 out. And so Rico Dowdle had a big day, but I see guys getting moved off the spot. I see guys missing tackles. Again, that's something that they're having a hard time with. And running backs running square downhill. And let's just finish the little cap on this run. To me, this would be Wanda. And then if I wanted the receiver to come back in like Kyle Shanahan's old terminology, I would say choke. He now becomes the lead blocker on the C-gap run defender who's number 6. So watch number 6. He's going to play back, outside. Receiver blocks him. And we've got a beautiful crease here getting downhill. So to me, this shows a bunch of stuff. It shows kind of taking on double teams in a poor manner. It shows overfitting to motion. It shows guys burying their heads. It shows guys missing their tackle. When people say the Dallas Cowboys are a bad defense, this is exactly what they're talking about, Jason. All right, so that's how Dallas does it badly. And those are all the kind of the things in their defense that haven't been well. But they do have NFL football players on this roster. So this is the same run. Later in the same game, they're going to run the same motion. It's going to look, everything's the same setup, right? Run motion across. He's going to motion back. He's going to motion, kind of orbit motion here. This guy's going to work to insert backside, lead up on that guy. And it's just one of the same thing. But remember how they got washed on the double teams? Remember how the tight end just totally beat the hell out of the defensive end? Watch this now. Starting here with number 95. Watch how he plays this double team. He says, I've seen this show before. Play back, stuff that guy. Boom, stuffed. Look at number 41, owning his gap. Does a great job owning the gap, covers up number 6. He plays downhill, fits on the receiver, and boom, tackle for no gain. So obviously they do have the ability to play well. It's just there are times where it looks like the last play where everybody's messing something up. Here, we're doing things correctly. Defensive tackle, working to extension with the arms, knocking this guy back, boom. I'm in my gap here, great job. I'm forcing the running back. The gap's closed here, gap's closed here, gap's closed here. The running back sees that. He's got to push and then bounce back to this. And obviously we got a free hitter at number 6 that can make the tackle. This is what they're capable of being. They just don't do it all the time. And so I just wanted to point that out. It's just saying, hey, this is, while they are one of the worst defenses in the NFL at the moment, they have the ability and they have the players to figure it out. So don't count your chickens before they're hatched, basically is what I'm saying there.
Is this because they saw this exact play? Like if there was a little more window dressing, it's harder for them to dissect? Or is it just they were undisciplined the first play, they're disciplined this play?
Well, let's go back and take a quick look at the first play for a second. Like, the thing about this is it's the same front, it's the same distribution. I honestly think, yeah, they just overplayed it. And so it might have been an unscouted look. The coach comes back and says, hey, man, we want you, as the 3 technique, to play it differently. We don't want you to push quite as far over if you're the backer. Look at, on the motion, they don't even leave the box here. They don't even leave the center box. It's really well done. Like, maybe it just took them a rep to figure it out. But again, it's not an immediate thing with them. And I'm not saying it can't be an immediate thing, but just wanted to point this out. They have the ability. They don't do it all the time. All right, let's get on to the next play. So another issue that they've been having in terms of the Dallas defense is kind of giving up explosive plays. So they're in empty here, and one of the responses they like to bring in empty is they like to drop 8. And so when you hear someone say drop 8, it means you're going to rush 3. So 1, 2, 3. You're going to drop somebody out into a zone coverage here, and you try to get more coverage players in to get the quarterback to hold the football and potentially throw an interception, right? So they're in some type of cover 2 here, some type of Tampa 2. I think you guys can see it here. They got the 2 safeties here. They've got the flat defenders down here on the bottom, and they've got the middle. They got the Mike run-through player right here going down the middle of the field, right here going down the middle of the field. That's him. So it's Tampa 2, and check this out. Watch, little double move here by number 4. He does a great job here kind of working up, and it ends up being an explosive play. I love this play. This is a great play. Double move, always super exciting. But the reason I love this play, like love it, is because they obviously scouted this. Carolina knew that they get into cover 2 and like to play drop 8 in the red zone. Watch our guy, watch the quarterback here, watch his left hand. here as he signals to the receiver. He's looking around. He says, hey, I know this. You see how he's squeezing his hand? You see that little thing? What's he doing? He's pumping his hand like he's pumping gas or something like that. He's signaling the receiver, hey, I want to turn this because I know the coverage from just a normal dig, right? Just a normal dig here on the perimeter to a dig takeoff. So this is what it was on, kind of a hammer concept. And now it's like, hey, I know the coverage. We can beat this. This number 6 is really aggressive in coverage. Now just run a takeoff and let's go score a touchdown. That to me is where game plan, preparation, identification all line up. So this explosive play doesn't happen by chance. It happens in the film room on Tuesday. It happens in the film room on Wednesday. The coach reps this in practice. Does the quarterback see it? Does he understand it? And I am really excited because I know our guy, Jaden Daniels, can do stuff like this. Now, it's not going to be the same concept probably because they run variations of different stuff, Cliff Kingsbury does, but it'll be something like this because our guy, Jaden Daniels, is more than capable of seeing, identifying, and executing something like this. So, yes.
Yeah, I got 2 questions on this.
Yeah.
The first one is how many quarterbacks do you think have the leeway to adjust a route? Or is every play have that possibility in it?
So what I'm saying is when they get to the red zone, and the red zone starts here at like the 25-yard line, when they get in the red zone, defenses change. And so I do think once they cross that marker, I think they get into a little bit more drop 8, cover 2. Defensively, I'm talking about Dallas. If you know what they're in, you probably have talked about at some point with the quarterback, hey, we really like this concept, which looks like some type of stick concept up here up top with a pull in behind it, pull over here, right? Something like that. Okay, it's good. It's good versus cover 2, right? Look at the space. If he wants to run a dig, there's a throwing lane here. But, hey, on film, this guy, number 6, is really aggressive downhill to the dig. He sees it a lot. He's going to try and get a pick. So let's take advantage of that aggressiveness, and we'll give you, the quarterback, the opportunity to go like this. Just give a little pump, little dig takeoff. And so I think the coaches set this up. They kind of laid the foundation and said, if you see this look versus this player, we want you to give it a little pump at the top. And he gives it a little pump, ends up being a big play. Tetro McMillan gets a touchdown wide open in the red zone, which is very hard to do. But that to me is where a lot of quarterbacks have the ability to have like a check with me where it's like, hey, this is the play. Let's call this hammer. We've got hammer called, but we can go hammer takeoff if you see cover 2 versus this matchup. Signal it up.
And my other question is when you check to something like that, is that a high risk, high reward thing? Because it looks like, just to me and my normie eyes, that if he doesn't bite on that, you're in big trouble.
It's dead, right? Like, and this is the thing as a coach where you give this player the opportunities. You say, hey, man, this is actually really good versus cover 2 also. We talked about it on Zach Ertz's touchdown. Look at this linebacker's eyes. He's looking through here. There is nobody defending this grass over here. Excuse me. Let me get my grid up. This grass right here. There's nobody in that grass, right? There's nobody there. So this is a great call versus Tampa 2 in the red zone. You've got the formation set away. You got 3 guys over here. Mike's going to push that way. Really, really well-designed concept. So if I'm the coach and this doesn't hit, I'm going to come over and be like, why did you do that? Don't do that. The play was good as it was, right? But understanding who this guy is, I think is also important. Number 6 for them is incredibly aggressive, incredibly downhill. So let's take advantage of that. And they did. And it ends up being an explosive play. Great job. So this is, again, where you kind of got to roll those dice a little bit, especially in the red zone, to find those explosive opportunities. Cool?
Yeah.
Awesome. Love it. All right. So now let's get to so the defense is struggling. The offense is the complete opposite of that. Their offensive line is struggling, but they're not giving up a lot of sacks. And one of the reasons they're not giving up a lot of sacks is their offensive coordinator is doing a great job with quick game, with keepers, with screens. I can't show you all those things right now, but we're going to start with something very simple, and it's going to be a keeper. So first off, let's look at the offensive line. Let's just let it go. Check it out. Some people call this a boot, right? Where the quarterback play action fakes and then leaves the pocket. Let's talk about why this is important for this team, because the offensive line is struggling. This is an easy down for me. This is, I think this is 3rd and 6, right? Talk about just de-leveraging this group. Look at the offensive line. They're going to run to the right. The defensive linemen are all going to kind of follow suit. They're going to kind of all play across like they've got their run fits. They're going to play that direction. You've made it super easy for the pass protection. Look at the quarterback. There's nobody in his face. I got clear vision down the field. The defense is distributing appropriately. And then Dak's able to get the throw out. So usually what characterizes a keeper, some people call it a naked, some people call this a boot, is this high guy. This guy's going to run a corner, and this guy's going to run a flat. So you get a beautiful 3-level throw, simple read. We've insulated, we've negated our offensive line in terms of pass protection responsibilities, and we've given Dak Prescott a clean vision down the field. So I think their offensive coordinator, or the guy who's the assistant offensive coordinator, is a former O-line coach. He understands how hard this is, and to me, it shows up with these types of play calls. If this is 3rd and 6, this is 1st and 10, excuse me. This is an easy, just, hey, offensive line, take the play off, right? Dak, easy protection, make this throw. Great job, easy completion. So on 1st and 2nd down for the Commanders, what's your plan for a quick game? What's your plan for screen? What's your plan for keeper? Because they are going to run the absolute heck out of those concepts. What's up, Jason?
Look at Dak there, man.
Yeah, dude.
That doesn't look like an easy throw.
It's not an easy throw because he's rolling to his left in a right-handed thrower. So usually if you wanted to run a keeper, you'd boot to the right so he can get that torque around and throw it. This is hard. Like, look at his body English here. This is tough. But speaking of this, Dak's balling. Like, Dak can do anything right now. And we're going to get to that in a second. But, like, I've never been more impressed with Dak Prescott than I have been watching the film for this first couple games.
And that's kind of why I'm bringing it up, because with this play specifically, do defensive linebackers that are going with the play action here, do they think at all in their mind, like, you don't want a right-handed quarterback rolling left? So the chances of this being a boot is less because of that. Like, is that ever pop in their mind?
So with some quarterbacks, I don't know, I'd have to look at what Dak's statistics are, but with some quarterbacks, absolutely 1,000%. It's one of those things where it's like, for example, a lot of quarterbacks like to escape to their dominant throwing hand. So you can develop a rush pattern to keep them from doing that, right? You can kind of say, we're going to bring more people to this side. There are quarterbacks that don't like to run boots to their offhand. There are some quarterbacks that like to do it more. And so that's where film study becomes really, really helpful and important, because you're like, how do we unpack and digest what this quarterback does and what he does well? I'll tell you, after watching film, he goes right and left, seemingly equally, because of his throwing mechanics and how well he's playing football right now. So I just wanted to point that out as a way, when people say insulating the offensive line, this is one example of many screens, quick game, all those types of things that they're utilizing right now to keep that group at high leverage situations. All right, let's talk about this. Another good player on this football team is Pickens, is this Pickens? Let's see what we got here. Yes, this is Pickens from the perimeter. No, this is the comeback. Let's talk about this. So one of the reasons we're talking about is the offensive line, right? We've played Green Bay. We know how good they are. Check this out. Look at this rush pattern here. They're going to bring how many rushers? 1, 2, 3. Let me get this number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're overloaded in protection. They get a quick win by number 94 here. There is someone directly in the quarterback's face. This isn't just a win, it's a quick win. It's almost right away. Like, Dak's hitting the top of his drop right now. Boom, there's a guy in his face. He's throwing this deep comeback right now. This guy hasn't even started snapping down his break yet. This is tremendous. This is a tremendous throw by him, and this is the type of stuff you're dealing with. Like, as a coordinator, like, before I even got to the film, I said, you know what we should do? We should probably heat him up. The offensive line's not playing well. But when you can negotiate the rush like this and make this type of throw, that's bonkers. Because now all of a sudden, this should have been a sack. This should have been a loss of down. But right when my foot hits the top, buy a little time and deliver a dart to the sideline here. Like, this is a tough, tough throw. And he's doing this before he's even out of his break, right? It's a awesome, awesome throw. And again, this is where it's like, now what do? Do we just sit back and play coverage? Maybe that's the solution and hope we get home with 4, because he seems to have, right now, this guy seems to have such a great feel for how to handle that rush. So really can't wait to see what Joe Wood Jr. does to kind of manage that and again, like, manage a good player. That's really hard to do, I think, if you're Joe Wood Jr.
Yeah, I mean, as a Washington fan, I'll say it. I thought Dak was overrated for a long time.
Did you?
But this year, second thoughts. He is playing phenomenal.
Yeah, he's playing really well. He's playing really, really good football. And I think he's also got a great relationship with his number one receiver. Like, This is a little crash route here. So he's going to push in, Pickens, push up, like kind of a corner, right? Now, this is the keeper again. Sorry, these plays are mislabeled in here. 1 second. Crash.
That's my fault.
Yeah. Can we pause for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Okay. 3, 2, 1, and go. All right. So now we got this crash concept. He's got a really good relationship with George Pickens. I'm talking about Dak here. And one of the things that tells me that is Pickens is right here in the slot. They're going to run like a little crash deal. It's going to be kind of a corner with an underneath concept here. Watch the route that Pickens runs. Watch the same page run. This is man coverage. You know, everyone's got their man coverage responsibilities. You understand this is going to be open on the corner, but look at the arc. So everyone thinks of a corner as kind of coming up, and we're going to push like that. Watch him round this out. And this is what you call protecting the throw. This is incredibly important. Protect the throw. Look at how much space he's able to occupy here and how much easier he's able to make this for Dak because he's being friendly to the football. This, to me, shows these guys have a great chemistry and a great relationship. Again, because like this is something that they've practiced, they've talked about, they've worked on. And Pickens is having one of the more productive years of his career. And I think it's because of stuff like this. Him and Dak are on the same page. And again, like the O-line, pretty good job holding up here, but this ball's out early. It's out early. He's throwing this ball because he's trusting. He's throwing to a spot. He's not throwing to this angle. He's throwing to this. They've repped this a ton. This ball's out. Great job by both of them being on the same page. And this is why they're so difficult to defend. You can't really get home. Like this is a 15-yard completion. Can't get home with 4. Can't get home with 5. Ball's out quick. And it's because these two guys are just really on the same page and playing really, really good football at the moment. So again, what's the solution? I think you got to try and confound and confuse Dak Prescott as much as possible. You can't let him know because if you go, okay, let's just go back to this. What is this? This one right here. He knows right now. This is the all-out pressure that we just saw, or the 5-man rush we just saw. He knows right now this is man coverage. He knows that this grass on the field here is going to be available because of the coverage structure in man. He can be very aggressive to put this ball out here. What if he's not as confident? What if he's a little unsure? Think about how they handled Justin Herbert when they were showing all out, drop to cover 2, right? They did a great job disguising coverage. Can you bring a little bit of that in here? Because if you can, you give that rush an opportunity to get home. It's the same thing on this deep comeback, same thing on the crash we just watched. Okay. The other thing I wanted to show, Jason, because it gets me fired up, is his mastery at the line of scrimmage. He does this every single game. In the red zone, in the strike zone, he is doing a great job, Dak Prescott, of getting these players, this offense, in the best position to be successful. Watch this. So we're going to kind of work through. He's going to mic. He's pointing around. And then he goes, hard count. See, how do we know it's hard count? Watch his arm stay out there. Hard count. Why is he doing that? He's trying to get the defense to undress their pressure. And so what happened here? Look, they're in this too high safety structure. He goes, said, hot, 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 hot. The safety moves out. This guy shows like he's going to trigger. Watch him. He's going to get up here and he's going to check the play. He knows you've given them the keys to the test. You talk about giving disguises. I just talked about why that's important. They're trying to disguise this, right? He sees this guy is being backed up by this guy right here. This is man coverage or some type of coverage where this player is no longer essential to the coverage structure. So what does that mean? He's probably going to blitz. So now I get up to the line of scrimmage. I send the protection over there. Look at, see his hands at his stomach there? See those hands? He's signaling some type of route to the receiver. Pickens on this side. He remics the protection. You see everybody pointing. All these offensive linemen were pointing out here. We're saying we're going to this direction now. Awesome job by him. Signaled our route to Pickens down here at the bottom. We're on the same page. He did a great job hiding it. And the result is I'm going to throw a slant, double slant concept here. Let's get fast forward here. Dak keeps talking. Double slant concept here. We talked about this before. He's going to hold. I'm going to get a clean window here because I understand that the guy vacating and having to fill is a defensive lineman. He's not great in terms of being a flat defender. I deliver a strike off the right ear of that guy, left ear of that guy. Boom. And then George Pickens is going to do George Pickens stuff and go score a touchdown. This is what makes Dak so difficult, is right, when you try to heat him up, he knows it. He's smart enough to identify. He's knowing how to use the hard count to undress coverages, man. Like, this is a tough down and distance. This is a tough guy to defend because of how he's playing between the ears. He knows it's man coverage. I can throw that, come back with anticipation. Hey, I know it's man coverage. I can throw that crash route. Hey, I know you're trying to bring a nickel pressure. Let me signal slant to the backside and deliver an absolute dot for a touchdown here in the high red zone. Like, it's going to be tough to deal with this guy down in and down out.
So as defense for Washington, when they're in these spots, would it be, you tell me if I'm wrong here, right? Mm-hmm. Would it be take a look at that play clock and hold?
Oh, absolutely.
Hold as much as you can. If you got 10 seconds and he's looking like he's going to snap the ball, just try and hold it.
Yep, try and hold it. And that's going to take a lot of courage, because like when you talk to London Fletcher about playing Peyton Manning or playing Tom Brady, is you know that they're looking for any kind of tell in the defense. And so the longer you hold it, the more difficult it is. Like, think about it. If this guy up here on this first cadence held it, right, and stayed in the middle of the field, and this guy's running like a 5-yard out, for example, I'm not in a position to make that tackle, right? So it takes a lot of courage, a lot of confidence, a lot of understanding of how this guy works his hard cadence. It takes a lot of work. And when you're playing good quarterbacks, this is why quarterbacks are the most valuable position in football, is because it takes so much effort and time to put this guy in conflict. And again, it's disguise. It's all the things we've talked about, all the things the talking heads will talk about. Disguise your coverage, bring pressure. But how do you make sure that you can do it? Because this is a great example of, this is not bad by Carolina, right? They just get caught. He knows the answers to the test. He can get people the right route combination, and I can pick you apart. And when you have athletes like George Pickens on the perimeter, like, you're going to score touchdowns.
Let me ask you a question from your experience.
Yep.
Okay, this is 2 hard counts.
Yeah.
Right? So is that called in the huddle? Or and then follow up that with, if it is, how do you, as a tight end who's on, say you're on the line, you're in formation on the line, like, how are you making sure you're not jumping? So again, this on a
is
hard count.
So what I would assume is happening here is they're on some type of indicator count. So for those of you guys at home who are like, remember Peyton Manning, he'd go like, Omaha, Omaha. So when you have a cadence, you go, wide 80, hut, 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 hut. You kind of walk up, put the hands out, right? Do whatever you got, reap my point, hut, hut. And I know, because it's on an indicator count, that I haven't heard the indicator word yet. For some people, it's a color. So like for us, when I played here in Washington, it was yellow. Hey, yellow, yellow, said hut. For Peyton Manning, it's Omaha, Omaha, said hut, right? So on those cadences, I'm just chilling, right? I'm just chilling until I hear the magic word. Once the magic word comes, then I'm running my route, doing my thing.
But defenses will pick up on that over the course of a game.
But we change it every week. We change it every week. And so
but do you change it at all within a game?
Not usually, no.
Okay.
Not usually, no. But again, like, it's a really valuable tool for the quarterback, because I can be as aggressive with my cadence as I want. Hey, wide 80, said hut, hut, hut. Hey, 24's the mic, said hut. And you get people on that second blitz because you've re-mic'd it, right? So I think that's where it's a really powerful offensive tool, and he's for sure doing that here, because he's talking around, moving around so much. He might even do, so here, hands up, hey, re-mic, point it out, do the whole thing, get back up here. He might do another cadence. Yeah, that's another cadence, right? And his might not even be on a word. That's the great thing about it, too. They might be on the silent count here, and so you see how he keeps picking his foot up? And you're getting a double tap here. See how the center, so he picks his foot up? So like with Matt Ryan, for example, we had a silent dummy count. So he'd pick his foot up, the left guard would do his thing, he'd put his hand out, bring it back in, and then everyone would kind of move around, the defense would show their blitz, and then Matt Ryan would kind of re-mic, do his thing, pick his foot up again, and then go. And then sometimes we had a cadence where it was like, for whatever reason that week, the defensive line was indicating off the foot, being picked up, pick him, put down. And so Matt would do that, pick his foot up, the guard would do his thing, and then for that week, it would be his hands. He'd go like this with his hands, just flick them open, and the guard knew that was the real one, and he'd double tap the center, and we all had to know off of that. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can undress the defense with cadence, and I'm sure Dak Prescott is using all of them. He's an experienced guy, been around the block quite a bit. So in conclusion, defense for the Dallas Cowboys, not playing that well, right? Offense is playing off the chain, specifically because of this guy in the backfield right here. He's absolutely dealing. I cannot wait to see what Joe Witt Jr. does to make and try and disrupt him as much as possible. They're gonna throw the kitchen sink. We're gonna get quick game. We're gonna get screens. We're gonna get keepers. We're gonna get boots. We're gonna get play action pass. It's gonna be all at the table. but really it's this guy. And if you can confuse him, you're going to give us a shot to win this football game. So can't wait to check it out. If you like this show, please make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Really appreciate it. And for today's film breakdown show, that's it. This show was filmed at the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for our rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.